Brown needed a new car. Not because Brown wanted one. Because Brown's old car had begun communicating exclusively through warning lights. One light meant low tire pressure. Another meant engine trouble. Brown was fairly certain the third one meant good luck. So Brown went to a dealership. Brown found a car he liked. It looked good. It smelled new. And most importantly, nothing on the dashboard was currently screaming for help. Then came the important question. The salesperson asked, "What monthly payment are you trying to stay under?" Brown already knew the answer. $400. That was Brown's limit. $450? Too expensive. $420? Still too much. $400? Maybe. Then the salesperson disappeared for a few minutes. And returned with excellent news. "We can get you to $399 a month." Brown smiled. Perfect. Brown wanted $400. They gave Brown $399. Brown had won. By $1. There was only one tiny question Brown forgot to ask. For how long? The answer. 84 months. 7 years. Brown took out a calculator. $399 times 84 equals $33.516. Suddenly, $399 did not look quite so small. There is nothing automatically wrong with a $399 payment. The problem is that Brown was treating the payment like it was the price. It wasn't. It was one small piece of the price. Imagine walking into a restaurant and asking, "How much is dinner?" And the waiter says, "Only $12. Great. Then you discover the restaurant will charge you $12 every month. For the next 7 years. Suddenly Brown has several follow-up questions. Car financing works differently, of course. But the principle is the same. A number means very little without knowing how many times you have to pay it. And there is a very simple way to make a monthly payment look smaller. Make the loan longer. Take the same financial obligation and spread it across more months. 48 months. 60 months. 72 months. 84 months. Every time the calendar gets longer, the payment can get smaller. Brown loves this. Brown watches the monthly payment fall from the sky like a beautiful little feather. Unfortunately, the loan is standing behind Brown growing a beard. Imagine Brown sees two offers. One has a bigger monthly payment for a shorter period. The other has a smaller monthly payment. But Brown will still be paying for the car when several versions of the next smartphone have already been released. The smaller number feels safer. Because Brown experiences the payment every month. Brown does not experience 7 years all at once. That is exactly why monthly payments are so powerful psychologically. Brown asks, "Can I afford $399 this month?" Instead of, "What will this decision cost me from beginning to end?" And those are completely different questions. A salesperson does not necessarily need to lower the price of the car to lower Brown's monthly payment. The loan can simply become longer. Brown can put more money down. The financing terms can change. Different costs can be included in the amount financed. The payment changes. The car does not magically become cheaper. Suppose the payment is still too high. There is another solution. Brown can put more money down. Maybe Brown hands over $3 today. Now there is less money left to finance. And the monthly payment becomes smaller. Brown looks at the new payment. Beautiful. Then Brown checks the bank account. Not beautiful. There is nothing inherently wrong with making a down payment. It can reduce how much Brown needs to borrow. But Brown should not mentally erase that money just because it happened before the monthly payments began. If Brown pays $3 today, and then makes years of monthly payments, the $3 was still part of what Brown spent. Money does not stop being money because Brown handed it over in a parking lot. Then Brown reaches the extras. Maybe an extended service contract. Maybe wheel protection. Maybe another optional product. Some extras may be useful. Others may not be worth the price. But there is a beautiful phrase that makes almost any extra sound affordable. It's only $20 more per month. $20? That sounds tiny. Brown probably wastes $20 somewhere every week. So Brown says yes. But remember the loan term. 84 months. $20 times 84 equals $1.680. Brown thought Brown was making a $20 decision. Brown was actually agreeing to as much as $1.680 in additional scheduled payments. That is the problem with judging everything by the monthly number. A large cost can be cut into pieces small enough that Brown barely feels each one. $20 sounds like a snack. $1.680 sounds like a purchase. Same money. Different presentation. Brown knew the monthly payment. But Brown still needed several other numbers. How much does the vehicle actually cost? How much cash is Brown paying up front? What is the APR? How long is the loan? And what will Brown pay in total? Because this $399. Does not tell Brown whether the loan lasts 3 years, 5 years, or 7 years. It does not tell Brown how much Brown borrowed. It does not tell Brown the cost of borrowing. And it does not tell Brown what other products may have been included. Monthly payment is useful. Brown absolutely needs to know whether the payment fits the monthly budget. But there is a huge difference between, "Can I make this payment?" and, "Is this a good deal?" Brown needs answers to both. So Brown creates a new rule. Before signing a car deal, Brown needs 5 numbers. Number 1, vehicle price. What is Brown actually paying for the vehicle? Ideally, Brown wants to understand the out-the-door price before getting distracted by financing. Number 2, down payment. How much cash is Brown putting into the deal immediately? Number 3, APR. What does the financing cost? Number 4, loan term. How many months? 48? 60? 72? 84? Number 5, total paid. How much money will leave Brown's pocket across the deal? For the original payment, $399 times 84 equals $33.516. That tells Brown the total of those scheduled monthly payments. Then Brown also considers any money paid separately up front. 5 numbers. Not 1. Because the easiest way to hide a large financial decision is to show Brown only the smallest piece of it. A few weeks later, Brown tries again. Different car. Different salesperson. The salesperson smiles. "Good news, we can get you down to just $389 a month." Old Brown would already be looking for a pen. New Brown asks, "For how many months?" The salesperson answers. Brown writes it down. "What's the APR?" Brown writes it down. "What's the out-the-door price?" Brown writes it down. "How much am I paying today?" Brown writes it down. Then Brown calculates the total. Suddenly $389 is no longer good news or bad news. It is just one number. Maybe Brown still buys the car. Maybe Brown finds another deal. Maybe Brown realizes the car is too expensive. The point is not that Brown must always choose the shortest loan. The point is that Brown finally understands the trade. Brown is no longer asking, "Can you make this car $400 a month?" Brown is asking, "What am I actually paying?" Back at the first dealership, the salesperson holds up a tiny sign. $399 per month. Brown smiles. Then the salesperson pulls out a calendar and starts stretching it. 12 months. 24. 25. 26. 27. 28. 29. The calendar goes across the desk, through the door, around the room, and eventually, around Brown. Again, and again, until Brown is almost completely buried underneath 7 years of calendar pages. Brown looks at the tiny $399 sign, then at the enormous calendar surrounding Brown, and finally understands. $399 was never the whole price. It was just one slice. And Brown had agreed to buy 84 slices.